Hi guys, welcome. This is Gina with Bijoux Noir. Again, you are tuned into the Blackness. I'm really happy to be here with you guys tonight. We are here to have a great discussion, I hope. Put some of the smoke away. It's been quite a very exciting weekend for me. Quite a busy weekend. I didn't know I was going to make it tonight, but I'm happy I am here to be. I'm happy that I'm able to be here. While I'm getting these clips ready, I'm excited. Most of you already know what's happening as far as this discussion. It's everywhere, right? Everybody's talking about this clip note that is going around about Bishop T.D. Jakes, I believe. Let's see what stands out is for me. What stood out is we are raising our women to be men. We are raising our daughters to be men. I believe the statement was, but I indicated women to be men. And it's interesting because you see, there's a lot of folks that are, there's two sides to it because, I was going around and I was trying to figure out, what the different, opinions were about what he said. And it's funny because if you listen to that clip, and I have to say, I don't disagree with everything he say, and I don't agree with everything he say, but um, it was a Father's Day sermon, I believe. And I have the clip here, but I also have some context. It's important that we try to understand the context. Father's Day sermon, so I guess it was a whole to do about relationships, which I can understand. He was addressing a relationship between men and women. Very interesting, for him to address it in that way. But I didn't want to I didn't want to take the approach of not really hearing the whole thing. So I went to church. I went to church this afternoon, y'all. I haven't done that in a very long time because I'm not really um, into going to church. Not that I believe in God, but I don't go into church. But I went to church this afternoon in TD Jake's church and sat in to really listen to what this whole sermon was about and what that clip note was about. Very interesting. And it's really I'm happy I did that because by doing that I was able to hear his whole statement. But it did make me want to come in here and still have this discussion, still want to address what we're talking about here. Are we raising our daughters to be men? Are we raising, is society, has this been happening to Black women in particular for a very long time? And when he said, we are raising, this is something that is happening, we, be it when he says the we, are Black men and Black women, our community, are we expecting more from Black women than we do from Black men? And that's how I take it. And I think that's how he truly meant to deliver it, listening to the whole clip. So, for those of you that didn't hear the clip, of course I'm going to play the clip. But I really am interested to have this discussion because for me it is very interesting, and I'm happy that things like this are starting to be talked about because there's a lot of discussions about what Black women aren't doing. It's funny because you can't go anywhere right now on social media where a discussion or somebody isn't talking to Black women about what they're not doing, what the size of Black women, femininity of Black women, the lack thereof of Black women. There's always something being said about Black women. And to be honest with you, it's quite daunting and exhausting for the most part. And you know, I wanted today to really sit in a place where I'm hearing Black men, and I wanted to sit in a place where I'm actually more listening to folks to see where they are. Because to be honest with you, it's really it's gotten to a point where I don't I can't really you can't turn the corner without having somebody have an opinion about Black women. And it's funny because you know I was talking to someone the other day and I was telling them that I truly believe that as far as Black women go, I don't think there's been I don't think any other women, and that would be facetious, of course, because when I think of it, there are the societies where women work as hard as we do, but we put in some work. But if you listen to some of the voices that are out there, it's like, there's a lot of work that's required on our end. But you know, this responsibility that is put on Black women for the lack of family, the lack of unity of the family, or the prosperity of the family, it's daunting. It's really a lot. And I'm in a place right now where I'm trying not to stand in a place of what about the Black men, even though I'm still there, because it's it's Father's Day. So you know on Father's Day, it seems like the reflection should be on what it is that is a father, but it seems like the pendulum always goes back to Black women, and it's been like that for a very long time. Now there is something that stands out for me. It wasn't the way it wasn't TD Jake's sermon per se, because if you go back and you look at the whole clip, and I did put it in the description. If you look now in the description of the video, you'll be able to look at the whole clip. You'll be able to see you'll see context. You'll see the context of how he said what he said. And that being said, let me go ahead and play the clip so you could understand why there is such a backlash. There's a lot of Black women that are responding to the clip that is being played, and I don't think it's more so a response to him as much it is a response to a lot of men that are using this clip, and of course taking it forward and adding a whole lot of spewing a whole lot of negativity and attaching a whole lot of disdain to it, which I don't think was his intent. But let's do this. Let's play his clip, because when you hear, I'm gonna have two of the clips. I'm gonna first play the first clip, which is being attached to a lot of people's context that are using it to bash Black women, and then we're gonna play the second clip, which I believe adds more context. But if you want to see the whole video of that, Father's Day sermon, I have the full clip video for you in the description. Okay, so let's go with the first clip. And again, before I continue, I want to thank everybody that is here so far. I want to ask you guys to please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, share the video on your social medias, and let's have some fun tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and get this clip started.
This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now. This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applying.
And I think this is true. I think that for the most part, and I hate to say it, and I think that women have resigned themselves to be it, where we've just put on the cloak of responsibility of being both mother and father, or putting in the cloak of being both provider or securer, in a lot of ways. Sometimes even when you have a husband, women tend to take certain types of positions in their households. Now, I'm not saying that it's right. I don't think it's right. I think that there should be. I think we were made to be different things. I think that's how things work best, when women are women and there's a role that is played, and when men are men and that role is played. But it's quite difficult to be a woman if there's if the other role isn't being played. And I think that's where the confusion comes in with a lot of people. And then I imagine that if a woman stepped into a role of leadership for a very long time, and for the most part, in the Black community, it is something that has happened for a very long time, that Black women have had to do that. I could imagine the trusting to step back and let someone take the driver's seat is probably not a simple thing. And that's just that is just something that Black men have to earn. It's nothing to scream about or make Black women feel bad about. And there's Black men out here every day doing it. They're earning women's trust, respect, and they've been doing it. And that's just the truth. But they're it is something that and that's just the reality of it. Respect is earned. Appreciate, superior, to be in a position of leadership. Leadership is earned. These things are earned. It's just like when you're in a position at work or you're in any position. It's just like lions in the jungle. These places, these positions, for you to be an alpha, that is earned. You don't just get those positions because you're a male. It's funny because if you go out there and you watch these videos where these men are raving about not being men and women acting like men and you're masculine and you're not feminine. A masculine man usually pulls femininity from a woman. It's the natural thing. But let me let the bishop continue.
For your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you are climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families.
That makes sense. When you're in those positions, be in positions of power, because that's what they are. When you're out there in the corporate world, you can't be like you would be to your husband and to your children. You have to be. Women have had to learn to be aggressive, and Black women have had to separate that commodity of being emotion, and they had to separate. They had to become a different animal to be able to survive without a man for a very long time. And let's get this straight. They were not without a man, not physically. They were just not. They didn't have a presence of the alpha, in there. And so in that respect, those women, and I'm not saying all, because there's been many men that have stayed and played their roles in and out of time, but those women that you see that way, maybe they didn't have the fathers or the brothers or men in their lives that reflected those types of males. So I would imagine that those women had to be that way, and because they were that way for such a long time, and maybe saw their mothers that way, their grandmothers that way. Well, it's like anything else, you can't just, it's a trust thing. You can't trust to soften up and become something else. And trust is earned again. Yeah.
I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house. But until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away.
And that part gets me. And I don't know if it's just me. And I'm going to put the link out early, so those of you that want to come in could come in. That part of creating a need that I could fit into. And that's the part that that probably gets a lot of women. Create a need that you could fit into. And that's the part that women that did not have maybe fathers or brothers or men that fulfilled needs, or they could depend on, or were dependent. Women that did not have that example probably find it difficult to create a need for men to fill. So.
Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning.
It's interesting because you see when you
This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now.
And it's funny because he's probably going to repeat. This is funny because you see, that part right there, when he ended with creating a need, and it's again left to Black women to create this need by, it's something that you're doing, something that you need to do to make me do what I need to do. And that's the part that's quite difficult, because you see, as a woman, and I can only speak as a woman, I can't speak as a man because I'm not a man, but I can say that as a woman, we have raised men, we have loved men. And the funny thing is, I was online the other day, I was on Facebook, and there was this brother that just came out of nowhere and said women could only love men when they're doing well, or I guess he was trying to say men that are financially whatever. And I said, Black women have loved men in and out of time, through good and bad times. And I said, there has never been a time that Black women stopped loving Black men, broken or unbroken. And there were Black women that just kept coming behind me, and was like, I think this post, it went up to like 120 comments behind me that were saying the same, echoing the same thing, that's a damn lie. We never gave up on you. And the thing is this, he said, there's something that we need to do to create. We have to create a need for them to be able to do what they need to do. And that's quite hard to understand, because there is a need. If you are with someone and this person is, let's say, you're saying this person is working and they're in the corporate world, and they're they're doing the things that maybe you feel like a man should be doing and not a woman. Why not you work 2 jobs and tell her you don't want her to work? The funny thing is, most of the men that are complaining about how, and I'm not saying that TG Jakes is in that place, because I saw the full video, and that's not, and you guys will see another clip where you get a full context of what he was saying. But there are a lot of brothers that are responding to some of what he was saying, and it was more so, the Black woman, she's completely off. She's raising her daughter not to respect men. And in essence, I think there was a time, and it's true, and I have to be completely honest, I think there was a time where we probably did, there was a discussions being made to young Black girls, telling them to stay in school, do what you need to do, get your education, because you can't depend on anyone but you. And in essence, that was a very important conversation to have with a young Black girl, because it was true. For the most part, not for all, not all Black men fall into that category, but for the most part, it was the truth. And maybe that wasn't right, but it was the truth. It was just the situation. I don't think Black women can inspire men. That's because Black men are supposed to lead women. Black women cannot inspire men to lead. Black men have to find it within themselves to lead women and to lead children. It is their responsibility to do so. We can't create. There is a need. The moment you find someone and you say you love them or you care for them, and if you have children with that person, there's the need right there. There's no more. There's nothing that she needs. She shouldn't have to stand on her head or be ultra this or ultra that. And it's funny because there's this talk about femininity. The fact that she's not as feminine, or she's not this or she's not that, and that's why your manhood can't be represented. And it's really strange to me, because to be honest with you, if you could sleep, you could lay with her, you could have a child with her, then you should be able to represent in a man way and take care of her and her child. And it's funny because these are just, again, far as I'm concerned, justifications of not doing, or excuses for not picking up certain responsibilities. But and I'm saying this again, this is not where I think TD Jakes is coming from, because listening to his whole sermon, that was not his perspective. Here's another clip, but full context.
What I just said might have went over your head. But what I just said walked from Genesis to Revelations. It told you how it started as one. It told you how it will all go back to one. That everything that came forth out of God will go back to God. And God shall be all in all, complete within himself, lacking nothing. That's why when we pray, we say, Our Father. Everything came out of him. Real men pour in. When Adam is created and Eve is pulled out of him, he breaks the divine order, because men were designed to pour in when he started receiving from her.
Because men were designed to pour in. And it's funny because, you see, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna rewind just a little bit, because what everyone did was they took the part that they wanted to take, and it's really a telltale sign of how much people want, or how they wanted to take the part of the clips that they wanted to just bash Black women, because this conversation started about pouring into women. Now let's start it again. And I really want you guys to pay attention, because it's a shame that this conversation, or this clip, was used yet again as a tool to really bash women. But let's play it.
Receiving from her. Because men were designed to pour in when he started receiving from her. If Adam had not allowed Eve to pour into him, sin would have never come into the world. Sin came into the world because Adam broke the order. We were not designed to receive from women. Your self-esteem is compromised when you have to ask your wife for lunch money. I'm not saying you got to be rich. I'm not saying you got to be famous. I'm saying that you have got to be the one who pours in, not the one who takes out. When Adam started eating out of his wife's hand, sin came in because the divine order was broken.
Now, they could have taken this part of the clip, and they could have made many videos and talked about how he said that a man is not supposed to have his woman provide for him. A man is supposed to provide for his woman. A man is supposed to take care of his woman. And that was not what was done. What they did was they took the part where a man is not, T.D. Jakes called Black women masculine. T.D. Jakes, said Black women, this is what they did. They took that aspect of all that he said and they ran with it. And this is what we do. And it's funny because it just makes me, and it wasn't just men that did it. There was a lot of women that participate in bashing Black women, to say that Black women need to be feminized, because that's a big thing on YouTube as well. It's not just Black men doing it. It's not just Black men that are exercising or using this tool to say that Black women, or something is wrong with Black women. Black women need to be, softer. They're hard. They don't know, they don't know how to be women. And I see a lot of women. Some people are using it in religion, some people are using it non-religion, some people are just using it, and everybody's using it, of course, on YouTube to get likes and paid. But for the most part, it was a lot of people that took negative aspect, or what they know would stick out, which is the fact that um that we're raising our, the fact that, in the corporate, what people are felicit when they talk about black women, is that they're talking about the fact that, they're felicit they're admiring our qualities that makes us seem more masculine. Now, that right there is an aspect of what the world is doing. But why are we highlighting that as if that's what we see in our own community? Is that really what we see in our community? Do we really, when we think about ourselves, is that how we see ourselves? When did this begin? When did we start seeing ourselves that way? Because you see, as far as I'm concerned, they've always thought that we were mules. They've always considered us to be harder than we were. They've always thought that, they've always considered the black woman, not to have any feeling. We could go back in history and see how they used to operate on her without, without any anesthesia, this is how they've always treated the black woman, as if she was unfeeling. So this is how the world has always, the outside world has viewed the black woman. There was a time that the black man was viewed that way too. Now, that being said, when did black men and when did black women start seeing themselves that way? Or have we always saw ourselves? Have we always envisioned ourselves through their gaze? And it's amazing to me because, the thing about it is, it's funny because those things that make us powerful, the fact that black women can go into the corporate world and do so well, and can, and is going, to, for all those degrees, and is able to balance certain things in and out of, and is making it in so many different ways, has now become this thing where this thing right here is what's causing the problem in our families. And I don't see how that is, because this thing that she's doing has kept our families, have sustained our families, because uh, if she did not continue on, if the black woman did not continue on and do what she did, where would our families be? And I'm talking about around the world, because this was not just here in America. This was everywhere, where she just had to continue. If you go to Africa, you go to Haiti, you go anywhere. That has been the history, where black women had to she just gets up and she works. It's just what black women had to do. We don't have the option. We have children to feed. We've got to make sure there's a roof over their head. We've never had the option of just saying, you know what, we're just gonna, whatever, we can't do it. We just don't have that option. So it was never a thing of, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna rub it in your face. It's never been a thing like that. It's always been a thing of, this baby's crying, I gotta make sure it eats. I need Pampers. I need to, it's funny because I remember there was a time when black women, especially here, there was a time when people were saying that black women, these welfare women, these people, they used to criticize that black women were not achieving enough, that they were not, that they needed to get out there and do like other women and get educated. And so black women in the 60s and 70s, they went back to school, and they did everything they could do to get off of welfare, and do everything that when they started taking assistance away from black women, they didn't think that they were going to make it. They took those assistance away from black women, and black women excelled. They excelled. And now it's funny, because now this is the thing that is causing our families to be, this is the reason now that our families are broken. The fact that we took the baton, the fact that we kept the thing, the fire going. We didn't let that, what they took away from us, stop us from being able to keep a roof over our head and everything. We kept the fire going. It's strange to me that, the hero is always considered, because that's what the black woman has been. And it's funny, I just don't understand why um a lot of these young men, especially the black men that I see responding in their videos, um, have so much hate and anger towards black women, especially around the fact that, you know, um, around the fact that, around education. It seems like there's a lot of venom around women that have gone and maybe to higher education, and I don't get why I don't understand what that's about. I don't know how that offends or affects black men in the way that it do. I don't think that's what's causing the family issues. I don't think that's our biggest problem. I think that if black men want to be um want to be leaders in their home, they can still do it. All you have to do is, you know, go to school too. Level up and do exactly what she's doing, but work harder. And, what's wrong with that? I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to understand, but I'm not getting it exactly. So this black woman is going to school. She's educating herself. She's first she was a welfare broad. That was what black men were screaming all online. I remember at the days of Tommy Sotomayor, whatever his name was back in the day, because I think he was one of the first ones doing it. And his whole pitch was black women are just, they're on welfare, they're not doing anything, they ain't contributing to anything, they're not, they ain't got nothing going for them. And then it became black women think they go out there, they get an education, they too smart, they by the time they're ready to have kids, they too old. So it's like you can't win for losing with black men. I just don't get it. And then this man, this T.D. Jakes, I'm telling you guys, his whole clip is not a negative for black women. He was given if you listen to the whole clip, and I am going to play the whole clip so you could hear it full run without interrupting it. But I want you to hear it in context so you could hear. So I'm going to start it over again, and I'm going to let you hear it. But before I do that, I'm going to welcome Icon Fire to the discussion. Welcome, Icon. Tell me what you think about what we're talking about.
Hello, Sister Gina.
Hey,
How are
Icon.
you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm listening in, and I want to say, I want to say, it's not, it's not totally black woman's fault. Um, and it's not totally black men's fault. You feel me? But we are at fault, um, mostly on the woman's side, but also men. We are at fault to not notice when a certain segment is telling us, a certain segment of our group is telling us that our mind has been engineered. You feel
Mm,
me? And when we hear that, we don't really take notice of it and then move along as we regularly do. You
right.
feel me?
Mhm.
So where I blame certain segment of black women is because you are the greatest asset of the black nation. You feel me?
Okay.
In terms of in terms of in terms of it is one group of the black nation that had everybody in their hand, and that's the black woman. You feel
Hmm.
me? So therefore she is like ultimately important in terms of separating us from the mental construction that we have been undergoing throughout the century. So our problem is not listening to the conscious group, the group that is opposing the fantasy and the glamour. It's like this: you have mostly black women rejecting consciousness, mostly black women
What do you mean
staunch
by
on the
consciousness, though? What do you mean by that?
okay, like TD Jakes.
Hmm.
He's a nut job. He's a nut job. I wouldn't listen nothing that these people say. You feel me?
Mhm.
Because he has fallen under the trap of the woman's dictatorship in terms of his mama grew him in church. She dictated to him that those are the values that you should keep. You feel me? And when he was coming into a man, he have seen consciousness like the Black Panther movement. He has seen Malcolm X. He has seen um great men. You feel me? Over the years, he has seen Bob Marley. He has seen Rastafari. He has rejected all of these things and still um underwent his colonization or perpetuation of colonization. You feel me? In which that caught his mother in from centuries ago. You feel me? The woman has been traumatized and targeted by the colonizer the most, just because the colonizer knew that if he has control over the black woman, then ultimately he has the control over the black man because she taught every black man. So what I'm trying to say to you is um the conscious group is without saying, without going intense, is I'd say Malcolm X. He was coming into himself, you feel me, as a conscious man. I'd say Marcus Garvey and what he stand for. I'd say the Rastafari community and what they stand for. I cannot name much more conscious groups, you feel me? But the black conscious group of America, you feel me? The Rock, the that they bombed in one of these states. You feel me?
So,
These groups are the conscious groups
so for
in
you,
which hold on, the majority of people is not the conscious group. The conscious group is a group that opposes American structure and European structure and opposes whiteness and all of that. So what we're looking at is a set of people, male and female, caught up with trying to analyze what colonization is, what selling out your race is, what oh, it's like this. The conscious group is telling you that you cannot be loyal to Jesus more than your race. In fact, Jesus will tell you that's a sin because you can't love him without loving your people. So if you're not fighting for your people, which is your race, if you are not if you're not teaching your kids that as a woman, if you're not teaching your kids that, listen, your race comes first, you have to put dignity in your race. You have to, under the circumstances of what we undergoing, I'm going not going to wear wigs, regardless of whatever people like say. If I'll choose Rastafari, I grow my dreads and I'll be proud of it. I'll walk proud. I will not make men say or drag my wig off. You feel me? In jokes. You feel me? I will not make. I will not make. I will not dress myself to please anyone. I will cover myself. You feel me? And walk with dignity. I will make the black race proud, or I will not be one of them that make the black that disappoint the black race. So I'm telling you what, black men not listen. Black men, what black men want is a woman that just like that, that that proud of our hair. See me? We don't tell nobody to put in rings in their nables. We don't tell nobody to put
but babe, I'm
tattoos. Hold on. We don't
almost
tell nobody to put
with
tattoos on their titties. We don't tell nobody those things. Women just moving off their own. And it's because of colonization. And when you wonder why men speak the way we speak, it's because you didn't teach us to speak differently. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
again, I don't think that you understand. You're giving too much power to women. Like the reason I mean, you're making it seem like the reason that men are the way they are is because of women, and women can only be responsible for women. Men have
But
to take
which man?
responsibility for what they put into women, and that's the truth. Men cannot say that they are here to lead and they are the head of household, but yet blame women because of the way that they are.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna ask you this:
And I
which
want you to really
man?
think about that for a minute because
But
I don't
let me ask you one question
that's
though. One
exactly
question though.
what the truth is.
One question though.
Hmm.
Which man was born big, and what authority
I'm
does
gonna
a
give
man
you an
have
answer. I'm gonna give you an
when
answer.
he's a child?
You see a man, he's born with a mother and a father. A mother is a nurturer. A father is supposed to play a part in a man's life too. It's not fair for a man, for a boy, to think that it is only the responsibility of a mother to give him everything that he needs. She could only give him the nurturing aspect.
Or isn't it
A
the fact that she gives him more?
father, no, no, no. A father is supposed to give you direction on manhood, not a mother. What you
I'm not saying. Listen, Empress. I'm
no,
not saying that. I'm
I
not
need you to
saying
hear,
nothing like that.
hear me. What men lack for manhood does cannot come from a woman. And this is the thing. You see, all the time, there's a group of men that feel like what they are lacking is because the mother did not give them or misdirected them. And that's not the case at all. If you have a
Okay, I'm gonna.
if you
Okay,
have
okay.
a mom,
You have a fact there.
let me finish. If you have a single mom and this single mom gave you what portion she had, she did just that. She gave you what portion she had. And that portion will never be enough, regardless of how much she had. Even if she had a great job, owned her own house, you never needed for anything materialistically, she could never take place for your father. You see, a lot of young men grow up angry.
You
I
missing everything, Gina.
understand,
You're
but you
missing
keep
everything.
cutting me off, and I'm because I hear you, and I'm trying to give you. You see, the thing is that you keep a lot of men will say children are raised by mothers. They should not be raised by their mothers only.
Okay, all right. You know you're supposed to listen what a man say.
Children are supposed to be raised by men and women, and that's the problem. Go ahead, Icon, and then I'm going to welcome Wendy. I do want to play this clip in its totality. Go ahead, Icon.
Okay,
And then,
all
but
right, all right,
please keep
all
it
right.
short so I could go to Wendy. Go ahead.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm a man speaking, right?
Yes,
But you oppose what I said, like you know more than what I'm saying.
I can
That's what
disagree.
you do. It's
Yeah,
like what I'm saying is not the right thing.
I disagree.
So me as a man, I'll be like, I'm gonna relent if you continue to oppose me, because I know I'm not talking no bullshit. Of course, a man plays his part, but a man goes out and make things happen. You is the one that is supposed to be there to instill a certain logic
What are you talking
in
about?
in
What are you
in
talking?
both me.
What world are you
In
living
hold on, wait. In both me, I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about women. So I'm saying that you, the woman, is supposed to be the one who teaches the kid, right? So suppose there is, suppose it's wartime, right? And your people in war and with whatever, and you feel strongly about it as a woman, right? So you have your babies, and the man has to be monitoring the field and monitoring this. You do like this, right? You gonna say, son, remember that those people want to take over our country, and you and your father is out there fighting. You feel me? So You not gonna come out here and sit around. You gonna prepare to go defend your country and all of that stuff. So what you as the mother did is put a drive in him first, like 5, 6, 10 years old. You be putting that drive in him or her. You be saying to your daughter, look, um you will get prepared to be um a a a a, a wife and a defender for your people, and a husband is there for you and all that stuff. So you need to be prepared to take care of your husband and make sure that he's good and all that stuff and all that stuff. And that means success. You feel me? So, but colonization has disturbed a lot of that, right? So I'm just saying that that's what the woman is supposed to be doing when the man's not around. You're supposed to be preparing your son to be like, okay, your father is out there.
That's been
Be
the
prepared
problem
to work too.
for a
Be
very long
prepared.
time. That's been the black man's story for a very
But
long time.
under our
Not,
under our
the
but
man's not
under our
man has not been at war forever. The
yeah,
black
but under our situation,
is his
under
reason
our
been
hold
there
on,
for his
yes,
son.
Empress, but I beg to differ. We are at war. It's
You're not.
just not.
You're not
Yes, we
fighting
are.
a war. You're not fighting a
Yes,
war.
we are. Yes,
Okay.
we are.
Icon.
Ethiopia. Hold
I'm
on.
gonna
Hold
do
on.
this. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. The black man is not at war with anyone else other than the black woman right now. That's the only person, the only real war that the black man ever gets into is with the black woman because he's not out here truly at war physically. And the only verbal or spiritual war that he's into, warfare that he's into, is with the black woman.
Look, we just creating discipline. That's all.
What?
If you don't like it, it is what it is. But that's what
Sir,
we creating.
I don't know
And
what you're.
who
I
and
don't know. I don't
what
know.
is the woman supposed to do? What is the woman supposed to do?
I'm gonna mute you because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm confused. I'm confused. You're creating this. You're like, well, while the black man is at war, that's why the black woman have to raise the child by herself. Well, I don't know when the black
I
man.
mean, you say we at war with women. You
No, I don't know when the black man was at war. We're talking about the black man here. The black man hasn't been at war physically in a long time, sir. Could we talk about reality? The only war that's been happening, it's been a physical war, I mean, spiritual war, any emotional war, but the black man is not physically at war with anyone. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, maybe with himself in certain places, but like, to be honest with you, the black man has no reason to not be there raising his children with the black woman. And at wartime, all people have to supplement and be there for their children in different ways. But at the same time, maybe 6 months at a time, 5 months at a time, this black woman has been basically raising her children, and we're not talking about the totality because there's been black men that has been there for their children. And what about them? What's the justification for them? They've been there for their children. There have been black men that have been there for their children, but we're talking about the majority that have not and have used the excuse that this is what the black woman is supposed to do. And those are the ones that are coming out not being totally whole because the black woman cannot make a whole black man. She can only give him what she can, and she cannot raise him to be a complete man. No, she cannot. I want to welcome Wendy to the conversation, and maybe Wendy, you can, maybe if you agree with him, you could let him know because I'm at the point where I don't understand. I don't think that it's possible. I don't think a black woman can, do it all. I don't think she can. Go ahead, Wendy.
I agree. I don't quite understand what Icon Fire is talking about tonight. I'll be honest with you. Um, I think there's one thing that you said that I think women like understand this a lot, and men for some reason don't get it. We would love to be able to play um, We would love to be able to, a lot of us would, not all of us, but a lot of us would love to be able to like say, this is my job. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to do this. It's no big deal. We would love to be able to do it, but we cannot. It is impossible because we have to take care of it. When, if you are in a relationship and the other party is not pulling his weight for whatever reason, then the one thing that a black woman will always do is step up. We step up. We don't make excuses. We step up. So when people are, when men, I'm sorry about these dogs in the background. But when men blame black women without looking at, first of all, I think a lot of what's going on is there have been real conspiracies to destroy the black family. And a lot of that is based on removing the black man from the family, minimizing his ability to make money to support his children, removing authority kind of from his authority from his own family. You've got what are not child support, but like child protection services and all sort of stuff that come in and tell you this is what you need to do, so on and so on. There has been, and there is a conspiracy against black people in this particular country, and one of the reasons why somebody like TD Jakes is like complaining about black women is because is the result of some of these things that have been done to destroy the black family. Because how do you destroy the black community? You destroy the black family, right? You stop it. They spent time and time trying to, Black Wall Street, Rosewood, all these in Wilmington, North Carolina, all over the country, where black communities were coming together and black men had picked up a leadership role in these communities to a large extent, right?
Can I say something?
No, I was quiet. Please, let me just finish and then I'll listen. But what I'm saying is that we need to understand that black men need to understand that it's not black women who created a lot of these situations that have led to them feeling less than, that have led to them feeling like they're not, and I wish, honestly, this is the one maybe controversial thing that I may say, or maybe all of it's controversial, I don't know. But I wish that black men would develop a little bit thicker skin in regards to how we communicate with each other, women and men. So if a woman says, honey, that's a really good idea. However, I was thinking maybe XYZ, maybe this can help this particular thing, or maybe we can do it that way. Yeah. That he would not say, oh, you're minimizing me, you're doing, you're not supporting me, you're not doing this for me, you're not doing, because at this point, black women are in a position where they are looking out for their families. And if they see that something, and this has always been the case, this is not just new. I think Miriam Makeba was the one who said, somebody was talking about how submissive African women were. Miriam Makeba said the African woman is the only woman who's learned how to drive from the back seat, right? And so it's always been that women are looking out for their families as best they can. That's what we do. And we step up and we push hard. Nobody wants to be a superwoman. I'm telling you that right now. Nobody really wants to be a superwoman. Nobody wants to, by the time you're like 40, 50 years old, it's like, you're tired of that. Okay?
But you're not listening though. You women, you're not listening though. Not you especially, not you. Woman, you're not listening. You're doing your own thing. You feel me? It's like you run shit. You don't stop talking. When people talking, and we talk something that you think it's out of the box, you flip and start dictating. No, listen, you are in a system that we don't own. You feel me? And you're not considering the fact that there is a man and a woman in another race that makes a team and fight against you. And then and then all I see is you, woman, not wanting to be a team and not doing what it takes for a team to win. I'm not so I at
Team
first
means
hold on, hold on. First I talk about no, it's not our fault. And I talk about how woman is targeted in this colonization. None of these things what I said um compute. You see me? But I'm trying to say that it's what they turned you into. Go look in TD Jake's church. It may be two men, and it's packed. Go look. If I'm lying, go look in any church. Why are you there? Why are you there when your man is not there? Shouldn't you be taking what your man says? Why are you trying to lead? That church should be empty because you should be taking care of your goddamn man, pressing his clothes and massaging him for the war. You think that's this not a war, but tell child institution, child support institution that there's not a war. I see a war there. You feel me? Look here, listen. You just have to listen with a keen ear. All this prettiness, everybody want pretty men and pretty this, and you train your man to be pretty and all that bullshit. That's what's going on. When you take over, you want everybody to be goddamn pretty. You want everybody hands to be soft.
What are you talking
That's
about?
what happens when you take over.
Icon, what are you talking about?
Well, you see men trying to wear panties.
I
Who
know, but
can train
what does
them?
it have to do with what
Who
we're
can
talking
train them? It's not a man who trained them.
about? Okay,
men were wearing what?
I'm confused.
Panties?
Okay, I'm gonna put him on mute for a minute.
I didn't.
You see,
Can I? Can I?
this is I'm gonna put him on mute and I'm gonna say this. This is why women cannot pass the baton. This is, you see, we're having a serious conversation, right? And Icon, can I ask you something? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to now trust that energy that you're bringing? Am I supposed to now?
We are regular people. Go, go,
No.
go.
This is what I'm saying about the Black woman and why she cannot, and why Black women, for the most part, raise their daughters to say and tell them to, you know, they push them to be independent because of this. Because Black men, they want all the power, they want all control, but you have this sense of they just want power, control, and there's no sense in between that. There's no organization, no direction being given, no clear sense of whatever. For the most part, not all Black men, because what you just said right there, like, okay, just you're at war, and we're just supposed to just do what you say.
All right, look, put it like this.
Talking about what are you? Okay, so let's do
Okay,
this. I'm gonna do
put
this,
it
right?
like this.
Tell you what I'm gonna tell you right now. We're gonna play this clip. We're gonna stay on task.
But look at it this way, Gina. You know we can force you to comply.
Who can
Who
force
you
you?
got to defend you? The police.
Who
Well,
can?
you know we can force you, woman. I'm telling.
Can I ask you something? Did he say defend? Did he really just say the word defend? Did he just use
Yeah,
the word?
only the police you got to defend you. We can make you submit. We don't have to listen. We don't have to ask you.
This Black man said that we don't have to ask you, Black woman. We can make you submit. So this is what it's come to.
Gina, can I just? I want to tell him a little bit story.
Do you get the insanity that's going on right now?
Yeah, I want to show him. I want to tell him. Okay, so I have an uncle.
What
I
in the
had an
world
uncle.
is going on with Icon? You okay, Icon? You all right?
Yeah, we can use that
Icon,
masculine
Icon is
energy.
not. Icon is not that. I don't think that he's that uncommon. Like I think there are a lot of men who kind of is assume that when they walk into a situation that they should be given a certain level of authority, and the problem is that they haven't earned it. A lot of men have not earned it, and
They know.
so like
Yeah.
I was to tell you my uncle's story. He got married and he became an alcoholic,
Oh,
and he and his wife split up, and then years later he had a moment with Jesus and he left that alcohol. He left it for
Listen,
the
I
rest.
didn't say I'm going to do
Let
that.
me
I'm just
finish. Let
saying
me
we
finish.
have the
Let
stop
me,
capability.
interrupting her,
can I
please.
finish, Icon?
Stop
What I'm
interrupting
saying is that when my
her.
uncle got his mind right, he went back to his family and his wife took him back. He had children that he had not been raising himself. She had been responsible because he wasn't there for years. I mean, years he wasn't there. When he got back with the family, he just assumed that he could walk in and have this um, principal role in the family when he didn't even know how the family operated. He didn't know what the children needed. He didn't know how they, how financially things were going. He just wanted to walk in and be daddy and be the man and be in charge of everything. And that didn't work. So he ended up not being able to stay with his family, even though he really wanted to. He wasn't able to integrate himself back into his own family because you can't just walk in and say people have minds of their own. You can't walk in and say you must listen to me, you must do as I say,
Mm,
especially when somebody else has been responsible for doing all the stuff that you should have been doing, but you weren't because you weren't there for one reason or another.
that's it.
And a lot of men are not there, and a lot of men are not there voluntarily. They have children, and they just like
Listen,
they get
we
upset.
are in a listen, we are in a traumatized community.
How many men have you heard complain about having to pay child support? Icon, how many? They have
So
video
why you
about
keep
that.
muting me? Why you keep muting?
Wait till she finished her sentence before you start over talking, Icon. That's
Yeah,
how people
yeah.
communicate. That's why.
That's not nice. I'm just saying that as you think about what the authority that you should have in this relationship, you need to think about what her situation has actually been, and you need to realize that women are not automatons. We are human beings who have feelings and we have experiences and we bring this to the relationship. So you need to work with us on that. If we've been responsible for feeding and clothing and caring for children and making sure that they get to school, you can't just walk in and say, I'm the man, be quiet and submit.
Or we could
That's
make
not going to
you
work.
know the part that I like was you realize we could make you submit to us,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. See that I don't know what he means by that. I don't know what he means by that, but that is just not true. That's not true.
That's the part. You see, this is the part. This is the part that you see, that's why I said to him earlier. He said, oh, the black man is at war. And I'm like, with who? The only person that you're willing to attack is the black woman. Because listen, you realize we could make you submit, right? Now that's a threat to the black
And I'll
woman.
tell you something else, Gina.
Yeah, now go call the police. Go call the white man. Go call the white man to to come lock you up.
I want to welcome Bakari, brother Bakari, to the discussion. Keep acting
What's up?
like Icon.
What's up, Gina?
I'm good.
Wednesday, a kind of fire the chat. Look, I was listening. I just wanted to come in and chime in on this, right? When he was saying, look at how many men is in the church. He said you'll see about 2 men, right?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. And I'm gonna tell you why it's a problem, right? It's not whether I'm a Christian or anything like that. Let's go do the history of the black church. Where was our revolution? See, what happened is the men, we got a little information and we stepped away from our meeting place to degrade and belittle the people that stayed. So we allowed people like TD Jakes and uh uh people like TD Jakes and Creflo Dollars and many others to take control and to get control of our women mind, right? So the church was a place where men and women work together. Black men and black women work together. Church was the place where that hid guns for black revolutionary. That was the church actually used to look out for the community. That was the purpose of it. But today we're so stuck on saying, well, you know, they're worshiping white Jesus. They're worshiping white Jesus. It's not. It's not even. It wasn't even about whether it was a white Jesus or not. That's not what they used to do. It was what they could do for the community inside the church. So the people that wanted to be part of a revolution, or say they want to be part of a revolution, we ended up getting away from the church. Now people like T.D. Jakes them can get up there and spew whatever they want to spew to our women or about our women, and there's no strong men in there to put people like that in check the way that it once was, right? So now when it comes to this submitting thing, right? I don't know. I think I'm one of the few men I've heard say this on YouTube, right? Should a woman submit to a man? Yes. But my man should submit to the woman too. Whatever the woman is, stop acting like we have so much power over our woman, and that white man or that Asian man or anybody else can put their foot up a black man's ass and we don't do a damn thing but come home and argue with our woman. That's the problem I have. See, that can't be we can't have a problem with submitting to the woman, something that the woman is better at, right?
Yeah.
What's wrong with submitting to her? You understand what I'm saying? Because see, I believe in a two-headed monster, right? Not one head. I'm the head of the household and you gonna submit to me because I'm the man. Well, are you happy to do the things that a man is supposed to do? Do you respect, love, and provide and protect? Are you happy to do those things? Or are you just complaining that you have to do those things, and then you go to work and redneck Billy Bob then talked about you and treated you like Dookie all day, then you come home and now you mad at the black woman as if she didn't go to work.
And Bakari, if you can't do it, you need to tell her you're having problems with X, Y, and Z. How can y'all work it out together?
Yeah.
Like if you're having trouble with your job, or if you're having trouble with something like that, talk to your woman, and so she understands what's going on, and y'all can work it out together. Because there is nothing that's more supportive than a black woman. What?
Throughout history.
Throughout history, submission, it's a natural thing that happens to a man. That, I mean, it's not something that you can make someone do. It's something that natural, like a woman that meets a man that protects her, makes her feel provided for, guided, nurtured, loved. It's a natural thing that happens. That woman automatically looks for you and has a need for you. It's a natural thing. A woman that you got to be pulling certain things out of is because you're not pouring certain things into. You can't get what you're not given. You can't get certain things from a woman that you're not putting into her. And that's it. You can't beat it out of her. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, we can make you give it. We could take it. You can't take it from her. You might catch yourself. You're gonna break her, and she might end up, breaking you."
Can I say
not
something?
all women responding? Not all women get broken and just die out. Some women get broken and find a way to break you back. So that's not always a positive. That's what happened. Black men broke. Back then it was like, the black man couldn't do because he was in a situation and so they forced respect out of black women because they were in a situation of and many times they forced respect out of black women in a negative way. And in that respect, they got a certain type of respect, but it wasn't.
I'm gonna ask something, right?
You're gonna
the white man
talking. You're gonna learn how to communicate with women. There's a way that you communicate. You don't just cut in and stop somebody from talking. Okay, goodbye.
Can I say something right quick, Gina?
You can, Bakari.
Can I say something too? When
you said the black man forced respect out of the black woman, and it wasn't the right type of respect, and they forced it because there were certain things they couldn't do. I'm gonna tell you, even with using the words, and me and Econ is cool. Icon 5, we all right, right? But even using the words, I'm gonna make you submit. We can make you submit. That's us thinking like the people that has dominated us. Go
Thank
look
you. Yes, thank
Right.
you.
Go
That's
look and
right.
see how white men used to beat their women. That's why that woman's movement was that feminist movement was a white woman thing to get from under the white man's control. The white
Yes.
man made them. You understand? So then you see somebody compare it one time to Muslim. You don't see Muslim women doing this because if you read the Quran, if a woman don't obey, beat her until she obeys. So, but black men, we were different, right? I understand that. See, I say any problems we have, it's not necessarily the black man's fault. It's not necessarily the black woman's fault, but it is necessarily black people's fault, right? And when I say our fault, it's our fault that we allow it to continue to happen, is what I mean. It's our fault that we don't change our mindset so we can do better and get our family unit back together and
Yes.
get our village back together where we're mentoring so men can mentor young boys, women can mentor young girls, and we do the things that we're supposed to do so we can be great again.
I agree. Because there's a level of, it's funny because as he was sitting here, I realized something. I saw back-to-back videos of these men so excited because they took this little clip note of what the bishop was saying, and made it this thing where it wasn't. I mean, if you hear it in full context, it wasn't what they were making it to be. It was more so, something else. But it was like they that was the part that they needed to hear. Like, and okay, while you guys are here, I want to play the whole thing. It's not that long. I want you to hear it in full context.
What I just said might have went over your head. But what I just said walked from Genesis to Revelations. It told you how it started as one. It told you how it will all go back to one. That everything that came forth out of God will go back to God. And God shall be all in all. Complete within himself. Lacking nothing. That's why when we pray, we say, Our Father. Everything came out of him. Real men pour in. When Adam is created and Eve is pulled out of him, he breaks the divine order because men were designed to pour in when he started receiving from her. If Adam had not allowed Eve to pour into him, sin would have never come into the world. Sin came into the world because Adam broke the order. We were not designed to receive from women. Your self-esteem is compromised when you have to ask your wife for lunch money. I'm not saying you got to be rich. I'm not saying you got to be famous. I'm saying that you have got to be the one who pours in, not the one who takes out. When Adam started eating out of his wife's hand, sin came in because the divine order was broken. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? And Adam all of a sudden has allowed the curse to come because he stopped pouring. Women, be careful about pouring too much into us. We are designed to pour into you. And you are designed to take what we pour into you and increase it and make it better. You increase it, you appreciate it, and you multiply it. This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now. Because we're raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you're climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house, but until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning. The conversation has become, let's prove to the men how dispensable they are. And it is born out of pain because we hurt you and betrayed you and lied to you and cheated to you. And you became like you became out of pain. But watch what is born out of pain. Benoni can never be king, only Benjamin. That is born out of pain is the way you cope with disorder. Insist for better out of me rather than replacing me. Oh, man.
And that was the full context of it. So it's quite different than the little footnote that they're playing everywhere. So what do you guys think after listening to the full context of it? And I have the full clip for if anybody that wants to watch the full sermon.
Yeah, can you hear me, Gina?
Now I can. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of actually related to one of the things that oh my God. One of the things that I was thinking about, I think when Icon was speaking, or Bakari, I'm not sure, but I was thinking about how many times I've heard of women who are they seem to be like anti-man, and then when you dig down, they talk about how they've been hurt or they've heard of other women.
There's a lot of noise.
Let me get this. It's the dog. Hold on. See that thing. Thank you. Is that better? Yeah, she's just eating this thing. That the problem is that a lot of women, when they approach these relationships as well, there's not a clean slate because they've had a childhood or something of pain, from dysfunctional relationships in the family, right? And so when she approaches this relationship with this new man, it's not necessarily like, oh great, it's not like, well, how is he gonna be like my dad, or is he gonna be like my stepdad? I'm sorry, these dogs are playing with the bottles. But so in that sense, yes, but I mean, I must say, I think that there was, oh my God, there's a good point about all the men being in the church and no women being in the church. It's like, why are men not in the church? Why is it that they're just, and women have consistently been in the background of the church.
But they're not just not in the church, they're not in a lot of places. Bakari, what do you think about that?
I think he blamed everything on women.
Okay, man's perspective. Go ahead.
He sounded like a cowardly man. Woman is the reason for sin. Then he comes spewing that nonsense when we took what her name? Shit, I almost said Gina. The people in the Bible, Adam and Eve, when we took Eve from Adam, and she came out of Adam. If she came out of Adam, why the hell I had to come through my mama? See, it's just the nonsense that they spew. And he was just sitting there. That's another black man that don't want to accept responsibility. The only responsibility he have is to stand up there and do that, teach that nonsense, and tell people about Jesus. But he's not accepting real. Don't want to accept real responsibility, because I know a lot of black folk on YouTube took that and ran with it. You understand what I'm saying? They took that, and that he took it, they took it and ran with it. A man shouldn't depend on, if a man and a woman in a relationship, they married, whatever the hell you want to do, they depend on each other. Why a man ain't gonna depend on his wife? So what is the wife is for? So he may as well say what James Evans told or whatever. What was his wife's name in there? He might as well say what they used to say back in the day. Because if a man ain't gonna depend on his woman for nothing, he may as well just tell her, your job is to be big belly barefooted in the kitchen. He may as well say it, because you depend on each other. That's the stupidest thing in the world. You depend on each other. See, somebody would say, well, something was wrong with me because I asked my wife for money. Because when I went to work and I got my check, shit, my wife was better with money. I gave my wife the check. So in order for me to get money, I had to go to the person that I gave it to. It's just nonsense. But that's that Abrahamic faith that he is spewing. You understand? That's that Abrahamic faith. So, and as long as we continue to hold on to everything in that, to somebody else's culture, because the Bible tells you he's the God of the Jews. So as long as you're holding on to somebody else's culture and you're trying to be like other people, you're going to always be confused. Huh?
So, from your perspective, you feel like he shouldn't have. First, you think he's blaming women.
He absolutely, yes.
Do you think that? Okay, why do you think he did not take full, like he didn't put the responsibility completely on men, or do you think as a man it's difficult for him to approach men in that way?
Because new age black men don't want to take responsibility. He might have him some young new age black men, and then if I can't turn them away about accepting responsibility, just listen to how black men carry on social media. You understand? Just listen to how black men carry on social media. We don't accept responsibility for anything that we say and do. And watch this. And it's not just black men. Listen how some of these young black women carry on. These in these 30s carry on social media. We don't accept responsibility. We are like children. We want the rest of the world to be responsible for us. I'm going to give you an example, right? Look what they did for the Asians. They gave it this social media. They gave the Asians a hate crime bill. They ain't do nothing for us. Okay, so what are we going to do for ourselves? So let's build this. Let's do this. Let's come together. And see, I ain't no Pan-African. You understand what I'm saying? So every time we started talking about doing something together, so now we want to bring in different ideologies. So
now we got something to fight about.
So nobody is accepting responsibility. Because once you want to be accountable for something, you have to do it. You understand?
Yeah.
You have to do it. So him up there saying everything is the woman's fault. The woman created sin. So what did the man do? You understand? And what that will do, it will keep black men, especially if people believe in Islamic faith, it will keep black men and black women arguing with one another while our community continues to fall. Because we're not doing what we're supposed to do as men. And I'm a firm believer in once we do what we're supposed to do as men, our women will play their role and do what they're supposed to do as a woman. But as long as we're not, the people who claim they're supposed to lead, as long as we're not in order with what we're supposed to be doing, I'm saying being happy to, being proud to say, I respect, I love, I provide, and I protect. I do those 4 things for my family. Me and my wife do these things together. We do it as a family. And if we're happy to do it, our woman gonna get in order and do what she's supposed to do. And it's just that simple. Now, that's my thinking. But I'm 50, but I'm old school. Like I said, I had old school parents. You understand? My grandmama was born in 1853, so you know how old my parents. You understand what I'm saying? My grandmama was a slave till she was 12 years old, and I'm 50. So I got old school parents who showed me, like, I was always taught it's okay for a woman to be on public assistance. That's who it's for. But don't you ever, from the time I was a little boy, you better not ever go put your name for no food stamps, welfare, nothing. You're a man. You go out here and get it. And if you meet a woman that's on public, this coming from my father. If you meet a woman that's on public assistance and she have a couple of kids, you treat them kids like they're yours, and you do everything in your power to take her off.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Now it's it's
But
funny.
I got to bounce my homeboy doing something, and I told him I was gonna be there. But I thank you for letting me come on and speak. It was wonderful being over here because I hadn't been in so long. It was great to be in your presence. You understand? It was great to listen to the reading some of the chats. You understand? Miss Blue Love, I would not say nothing to you no more. That's my last time because you told me not to. But I want you to understand, I'm not taking no responsibility from black men and saying it's the white man's fault. I was using an example because I know we have flaws. And that's what I touch on more than anything, our flaws and the thing that we need to do to build ourselves up. That's what's more important to me.
Yeah.
Once again, Gina, peace, one love. I'm glad you let me on. And once again, peace to the chat.
Always welcome, guys. And visit Brother Bakari's channel, man. He has a channel. He's a real one, y'all. So thanks again, bro. I love you. Thank you.
I love y'all too. Peace.
You know what, guys? I'm gonna tell you something. There's some really, like I said earlier, I wasn't gonna come on here and just be like, oh, TD Jake. So, full context is like he said, don't give up on us. He understands, like, the full context. If you look at the full video, and I'm not, into TD Jakes, and I blame, to be honest with you, I blame Christianity for a lot of the, the division between the way a lot of the division that goes on between the black woman and the black man, a lot of it. But that's a whole different discussion. But in reference to that particular clip and that footnote that's being used, there's a lot of black brothers that are taking it, and they're taking it to the negative. Not just black men. There's a lot of black women out there too. You guys know them. I see a lot of sisters, out here berating black women. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what this whole thing, this train that's been going through our community or our cipher, where people are just whatever they can use, they're using to justify berating black women. It's just something that I've seen happening. It's like this thing that happens. It's like everything that goes wrong in the black family is the black woman's fault. One thing I will say is this, in reference to the black woman having to be strong, she had to be. In reference to her having to, become aggressive or whatever masculinity they're saying, whatever they're calling masculinity, I don't even know what that is, but whatever that they are calling masculinity, if that is what she has become, the black man has to take full responsibility for that. Because whatever that she became, it's because she was put in a position to become that way by the black man. And if he wants her to no longer be in that place, it's going to be his responsibility. And only he can make her or help her get out of that place by becoming or whatever it is that he thinks he needs to become to remove her from that place, if that's even possible. Because to be honest with you, it seems like it's not possible. It's like they want women to just submit to something that's not there. If it's not there, how do you submit to it? Like, in the case of Bakari, that brother spoke about something that was there. You know, you can submit to something that is there. You can't submit to, or let's say, support. I agree with Z. I agree with I believe there was another person in the chat that spoke about, you know, the word submit is not really a good word to be using. I think you know, the support that Black men are looking for, from the support that they're longing for from Black women, the relationship that they're wanting to have with Black women, is something that, you know, they're looking for in Black women, is really not something that they are they need to look for in Black women. It has to start with themselves. You see, it's not something that we're going to have to give you. It's something you have to give yourself. Relationships go both ways. And it's funny because as I was looking at videos, there was this one guy that he was watching this little Black girl. I think she was like 5 years old. And he was like watching a video how this little girl went on somebody's porch and she took somebody's dog, and he was like calling her, look at her. You know, he was calling her all kinds of names. And, you know, he has this big channel, I think over 200,000 subscribers. And he was like, see, that's the Black woman. She's out of her name. You know, like, I don't even know. Are you okay? Is that okay to like have children on a video and be cussing? But that being said, he was just saying how this is what the Black women, this is how they teach their daughters to disrespect Black men and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking in my heart, he's not even contemplating that this little girl has a father. So where is her father? You know, these little Black girls that you're saying that are disrespectful when they're little and they grow up to be disrespectful young women and grown women, where are their fathers? You're making it seem like these girls have no fathers and the only people that raise them are mothers. And so what you're saying is, you're really putting it out there that Black men are not present and therefore are not responsible and take no responsibility. And that's a telltale sign. And it's really sad. I really don't even understand how Black men get on YouTube or anywhere else and really berate Black women the way they do and say how, you know, that they're the worst, not realizing that a lot of that have to do with a lot of upbringing. And if you're saying that these people are not being brought up right, then it has a lot to do with the fact that they're lacking fathers for the most part. So that would fall on the lap of Black men. So there is a conversation that needs to be had in the community, between brothers. You know, brothers like Bakari are brothers to be listening to. But for the most part, a lot of you are listening to a whole bunch of brothers that are broken and for the most part don't even have a clear direction of what it is to be a supportive Black man. I listened to the whole clip with TD Jakes. His I believe it was a Father's Day clip that he was having. In full context, yes, there was a little bit of women blaming, but not as bad as they tended to try to make it seem. They took the negativity, of course, and they expanded it and used it to berate Black women. But for the most part, there was an angle there. His whole message was Black women, Black man, you need to pour into her, and you're not supposed to expect women to take care of you. That was the full message. And I don't think it was a bad message. I do believe that he kind of, like Bakari said, cowered out and used the Black woman to give the medicine to the Black man. You know how you put a little bit of honey in the medicine to make it go down softer, and I think that's what that was for the Black men. And a lot of them did not take it well. They just basically missed the whole lesson and went straight to the Black woman is a masculine. She's masculine. And if you go out there and you put in TD Jakes and you put in the Black woman, you're gonna see a lot of brothers or sisters, and there's a lot of women that are profiting from this too, where they're jumping on the bandwagon and saying how Black women are not, that they're masculine or need to be more feminine, or Black women are gonna, it's just really sad, and it's really exhausting to see so many people jumping on that bandwagon, and it's something that for the life of me, I can't understand. I know that society for a very long time had labeled Black men and Black women to be this unfeeling, hard creature that, people can just say and treat any way. But in our community, it seems like we have become very comfortable with treating ourselves in a very unfeeling, very derogatory, very disrespectful way. I mean, it's not just on the Black men and Black woman type thing. We do it in the sisterhood. I see a lack of respect, appreciation, and love, and not just that. It's just that there used to be a time. I was talking to someone the other day, and there used to be a time when, there was always this thing where, you couldn't trust one person and your information may go out to one or two people. But now on social media, we're out here, we're denoting each other. We're actually disrespecting each other in levels unseen. Like, you could go to other people's other nationalities, and you'll not see them tearing down their culture the way that we do. And it's just, it's terrible. Like, this right here is a good example of it. This was definitely taken off of the spectrum of what he was saying in totality. Yes, there was if you took that little snippet, you would have gotten just that, and you would have felt that that's all that he said. What I think he did is what I think most preachers do. And that's why I don't go to church, because they take little, and he was trying to give a certain group medicine by using another group to make it go down. And that's what all preachers do. They've always done that. But it wasn't like I thought it was, in reference to some of the videos that I saw prior to watching the video with context. So that being said, it was very it's hard to believe that we have gotten to a place where and not just this, but I've seen other things this week that just totally made me feel like, man, we have this tool. We can use it for the benefit of the community. We could use it to come together and really show love and bring pieces together, and build and enrich each other, and heal. We can use it to heal. Shit, we've been broken for a very long time, and in so many ways. Or we can use it to tear each other down. We could use it to humiliate each other. We could use it to infringe upon each other's personal spaces. It's really up to us in how we want to reveal ourselves to this world on these spaces. And it's really gonna be it's gonna be here for a very long time. This information, this stuff that we're putting out here about ourselves, it's going to be here for a very long time. Prior to us being able to go on social media and really put out images about ourselves, there was a time that we used to say, it's the image that they put about us. That's why the world sees us this way. There used to be a time that we could make statements to the effect that the reason why they look at Black people the way they do is because of the way, the image, the news that they're putting us about it. We can't do that anymore, because right now, if you go online and you go to YouTube or you go anywhere else that we are uploading ourselves, the images that are being put out about ourselves are images that we're putting out about ourselves. So we have no one else to blame but ourselves. If we're out here berating each other, if we're out here stabbing each other in the back, if we're out here, just profiting off of each other's hurt, we have no one to blame but ourselves. I mean, none of us are perfect. We're living in an imperfect world. I think the creator, the source, whoever you believe that is the creator, designed it in a way where things are imperfect. Everything is imperfect. Everything. So there could be a room for mistake. There could be room for inconsistency. So there should be no surprises when things come out or things, happen to be imperfect. So if there's no perfection in this world, then we can't stand in the place of judgment. We can't really stand in a place of a place of tearing people down or making people feel less than. It hurts me that we're not using this opportunity to build the necessary bridges. We've been distant for so long, and we've not really had this type of opportunity in such a long time. We come from a place where villages, where we've had vast space, and we were still tight knit in enclosed villages. I've read many articles where they talk about the first people that went into Africa. They saw that even though Africa was such a great expanse of space, they saw that we were living in villages, tight-knit communities. For the most part, those people that lived together were very close. So we were a close people, clusters of villages in different places. And so we are used to living that way. And for a very long time, we were dispersed throughout the world in different ways. And that started happening, eons ago. and the internet, what it did was it gave us an opportunity. It gave the world an opportunity, all races, to come together and really just find ways to connect, find ways to bridge. And yes, it's a place where you can have, like I said, uncomfortable conversations. You can definitely get in, but lately, there's just been this space has just been a place where we have just been revealing ourselves in the most berating ways. Again, yet this is another example of something that we use to yet again find a way to berate ourselves. The Black woman is an institution. She's not just the Black woman is a very important entity in our cipher. The Black woman is she's very, all entities in our cipher is important, but the Black woman is a very important, and I think we all would agree that the Black woman is one of the most important beings. She brings life. She carries all life into our cultures, and I think that it is time that Black men and Black women start protecting the images of Black women, because Black women bring in Black men into this world. And because of that, Black men should be interested in protecting the image of Black women. And Black women need to start respecting and appreciating their own. It's really sad, because it's not just where Black men are disrespecting Black women. I see a lot of Black women disrespecting Black women as well, or berating each other, or just it's funny, because I was telling someone that the most beautiful thing in the world is when you have another sister that you can rely on, someone that you can actually go to and talk to about everything. There's nothing more beautiful in the world when there's a sisterhood, a true sisterhood. So for me, to see it otherwise, to see the contrast of that is really disheartening. I'm praying that our community could really take advantage of this opportunity, the opportunity to really reconnect in the ways that we have not been able to in a very, very long time. I remember when I first started having these discussions here on this channel, it was a beautiful thing to see, because to be honest with you, I had never connected with so many different types of people, be it the Caribbean or people off the continent, or, people here in the diaspora. It's a beautiful thing to be able to learn and communicate with so many types of people, and the knowledge and the ability to heal wounds, because we were healing wounds. There's a lot of movement on this earth. There's energy spewing all the time throughout the universe. Now, a lot of it is good energy. Most of it is good energy, because you know why you know it's good? Because there are things, life coming into this earth, not just human life, but all forms of life. I truly believe there's more good than bad. It's our responsibility to try to harness the good, and we have the option to do so. That's the great thing. We have the option to harness the good. And so I'm not really going to be here long tonight. I really just wanted to come and shed some light on this clip. It wasn't all bad. It was I believe it was him giving black men medicine, but he used black women to do it. I agree with Bakari. It was kind of weak, but it is what it is. Um, I'm hoping that we can get to a place where black men can protect us, like Icon said. But that today wasn't that day. They didn't take this tool, this opportunity, um, with this clip to use it for protection. Not a lot of them. There were a couple. I have to admit that I saw at least one or two brothers that took the clip and then went back and looked at the full clip, and they were like, no, the brother is saying that we need to pour into our women and not to expect them to pour into us. We need to be able to give them what they need, and not to expect from them to give us. And it was refreshing. Just like Bakari said, it was refreshing to see that there is that masculine energy out there, because that masculine energy is what we as women need to allow us to be feminine. So that's what I had to say. I want to allow you, Wendy, to tell me what you think. I'm being pinged by my husband. I'm going to go spend some time with him, and then we're going to be back here again tomorrow.
Hey, I just want to, I think I agree with a lot of the stuff that Bakari was saying. I really, lately, I've been thinking, especially, I guess maybe because like the social media, the YouTube in particular, is maybe dominated by like the younger generation of black men, like in their 30s,
Yeah.
early 40s and stuff. But when I listen to a lot of what they're saying, is it really, one, it seems like the brotherhood of victimhood a lot, because it's like such as black women are doing this to me, black women are just doing that to me, and black women they've got to do this for me, and they're not listening to me, and they're not doing. It's like you're a victim. When are you? And it's almost like, to me, as I was listening even to TD Chase, it's like, well, you're talking about being a man. Be a man, And then it gets back to what Bakari was saying: is be responsible, take responsibility for your own situation. I mean, I think sometimes we just need to say step up, and like I said before, you got to also develop a thick skin. If someone says something to you that you don't like, that's okay. That's okay, but don't go running into the corner, licking your wounds, and acting like you don't have a role in the family anymore. I mean, so I think, and then the other thing is, I absolutely agree with what you're saying about how lately, and this is more, as things have developed, there has been this kind of escalation of warfare between black men and black women, and I, as hard as I may be on men tonight, I'm just that bad on women. When women go in on black men, I don't like it, because if we can't come together, we are doomed. We are absolutely doomed. And we need to stop this. We need to stop, and we need to, I think the one thing I will call upon black men to do is to stop degrading black women publicly the way they do. For whatever the reason, you need to stop that, because that's what they are doing. They are they're allowing people of other races to pick up on what they're doing. And I've heard people of other races pick up on what black men say.
Use their verbiage, use their jargon.
Exactly what they say.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, my black friends tell me black women, blah, 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 blah. They're too strong, they're too this, they're too that, to the other. And then if you like dig deep into some of these other cultures, they'll tell you, yeah, their women are too. Who's a tiger mom? You know,
I don't know.
who's a tiger mom? Some of the women who are supposed to be the most submissive in the world are the tiger moms. You know, so what are you talking about? That black women are pushy and this, that, and the other, and like the most pushy in the world. I mean, I just feel like if we don't call ourselves on the wrong that we're doing to each other, we will not go anywhere, and
Yeah,
our children are going to suffer because of this.
yeah.
And we need to stop this, beating each other up. Black men need to step up and stop beating women up, and black women need to give them a break. Give them a break. Let them come to the table and do what they can, and we should be appreciative of what they can do and encourage them to do what they can do. But black men need to understand a black woman's position. She's not necessarily going to do something that's going to have a negative impact on her children because he said so. I mean,
you gotta pouring into. Before I go, I want to really hit that, because to be honest with you, that's another aspect of it. It's like, okay, I'll give you that. We don't black women, that trust factor. You got to pour into. And that's another thing. You can't just get things. It's like anything else. You put the seed in the earth and you cultivate, you make sure you water that plant, and that plant grows, and you have a plant.
Exactly.
My thing is, I think a lot of black men, when I hear them talking about the black woman, it's like they're thinking they should just walk in and there should be a plant. And I don't think that that's the way it goes. I don't think so. Unless you're in one of those cultures where you're being groomed to be with someone since the time that you're a child. Like you're groomed, and then you come together at the age of 13 or whatever to be together, and that's all you ever are gonna be. She was groomed to be with you, and you were groomed to be with her, and that's all you two were groomed to do. Otherwise, if that's not what you were groomed to do, then more than likely you're gonna have to earn that, just like she's gonna have to earn it.
Exactly.
But it's like you both have to put in the work. It's work, and from my perspective, I think that black men, for the most part, are sitting in a space of, I am a man, so that's the work, and you now have to put in extra work.
And I get the feeling, Gina, that they want to be the man at home because they don't. I think Bakari said it. You go out and you can be demeaned, you can microaggressions, all this stuff going on all day, and he comes home and he wants to be the man.
Yeah.
But she's been doing the same thing, and what does being the man mean? And this whole, this whole, I mean, I have issues with biblical interpretation anyway, but one of my big things is the way that people will take literally like one sentence out of a chapter and be like, this is what, just forget the context of everything else around. It's just like,
that's exactly.
Yeah. And that's the way it's like women submit. How many times, like every month in every church, you're going to hear a male pastor get up there and talk, and women.
Man, these black
forget the man's job. They forget that there's more to that verse. There's more to that section of that chapter. It says you've got to love her the way you love yourself. This is the way you need to be towards your woman. It's not just a one-way thing. And it seems like what Christianity has pushed for hundreds of years is that women be submissive.
And also, we got a statement here. He says, there's nothing wrong with a woman doing for herself. The problem is some women are disrespectful with it. I can understand that.
Yeah,
I don't think that's good on either side, because
nobody should be disrespectful.
Both sides. Yeah, I don't think
nobody should be disrespectful.
Yeah.
And men should not be disrespectful to women if she's trying to do everything she can do, and for whatever reason
So are you talking about in a situation where a man is not working and she's working maybe, and so she's like walking,
throwing it up in his face, maybe? Yeah. But I mean, and even with that,
I wouldn't even, and that's the thing. Like, do you suggest a man dealing with a woman in a situation like that, where are you comfortable dealing with a woman if you're not working? And is that even
I wish they would answer that question, because I mean, not long term, right? Not at least, I mean, if you're a man, from a woman's perspective, if you're not working, then you need to be looking for a job, or you need to be going to school to get, so that you can either make your job or get a job or something, but you can't be just sitting around, again, licking your wounds, acting like,
yeah, because
you're entitled to, right, you're entitled to do that for long term.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and
because
that's what I said, and that's what Bakari was saying. Men need to, accept their responsibilities.
yeah,
If you're
because
not
the only
taking
way
care of
I
those
could see her
kids,
walking around, there's nothing wrong with a woman doing for self. The problem is some women are disrespectful with it. The only reason I would see a woman walking around being disrespectful with it is if she's in a situation where she's doing it and you're not. And so she would become disrespectful. And I'm going to tell you something. And in most cases where women are working or being providers and men are not, most women will probably become not disrespectful, but resentful.
yes,
And I'm just being very honest
absolutely.
because a
And I'll
woman.
tell you something else. A lot of men will allow women to work like that, and instead of them stepping up, and I have seen this so many times,
Yeah,
and saying, okay, I'm at home right now, I don't have a job, you have a job, so
yeah.
I'm going to take care of some food or something. A lot of times they don't do that. They're like, you go to work, I'm not
And
working,
that,
and you come home and you take care of the kids, and you get the meals, and you clean the house, and you
and
do
that's it.
everything else.
I'm gonna tell you
And that
something.
leads to resentment. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you were
I'm a
raised
Hebrew.
in the
I'm an
most significant
Israelite,
woman
right?
in your
I'm a
life.
Hebrew Israelite, and I'm gonna tell you something. And shout out to all the Hebrews. But I'm gonna tell you, I was in a situation like that where I was with my first husband, where I worked and went to school, and he was a leader in the camp, and all he did was go to the camp, and he taught Monday through Friday, and he didn't clean, he didn't cook, and so that became very exhausting. It's hard to respect a man that don't do anything. It really is. And it's something, you become resentful, and it's not something you do. It's not like you want to disrespect anyone. It's just that a man is supposed to provide. A man, you're not even supposed to, a man is supposed to provide. And in this society, we know that a man can't provide by himself. But if you can't provide by yourself, then if you're home all day, then, and I'm working, and then I come home and I still have to cook, clean, and take care of the kids, and you're probably taking your frustrations out on me. There are a lot of factors to make a woman be disrespectful in those situations. It's not really disrespectful, it's resentful, but then that's that side of the coin. There's another side of a coin where the woman is just disrespectful because she feels like she has an upper hand and you don't. Because she's resentful that she's working and you ain't bringing nothing to the table, and that's just straight
That's right.
resentment. That's
And
just
that's what men need to open up their eyes and
yeah.
understand. And so if you sit there and you want to be the man and give all the orders and make all the decisions, including financial decisions, when your behind's not out there working, that's going to be a problem at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this from, and I'm again, because I've known women and I've been places to other countries where people were not like didn't have the same experience as African American women.
Hmm.
And but I don't care who it is, it's the same thing. Like, you see women come here from Africa, and a lot of women who are in this situation where, not even if he's not working, if he is working, but she's working, and then she has to come home and do everything. She cooks, she cleans, she takes care of the kids, she takes care of his needs.
Hmm.
She's eventually she's going to get resentful.
Now I see what
And
he's
while she's
saying
doing
here.
all of that, and he's sitting around watching TV or doing whatever,
Mhm.
she will. I'm saying, and that's something that men need to understand. So if their definition of manhood and respect is, let me do what I want to do and not care about how you're feeling, and not listen to you and not communicate with you about how this is going for you or what you need out of this marriage,
Yeah,
then that does lead to problems. I agree with you 100% on that.
Exactly.
100% on that. But I think, and I think that it's just, I really think it's just communication. And people just need to be really honest. And I don't know if, men don't want to communicate, or women are known to be communicators. We talk a lot, we say, we get emotional, and we let the emotions come flow forth, but men, I think, maybe a little bit reluctant to share their insecurities and things like that, and because they
Yeah.
think they're supposed to be strong, and they're supposed to be, but their women are, women, men, y'all need to understand, your woman will be there for you. She, especially if you come out and say, you've got this issue, you need her help.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of I learned this in life, one of the most effective ways of communicating and showing trust to people is to say, I need your help.
I
If you
need
say
your
to
help.
someone, I
And
need your help, people jump up and do what it's like, you need my help? Okay, what can I do to help you? Because
exactly.
to say that to someone, you do have to show your vulnerabilities. You do have to say, I can't handle this right now, and you're the one I'm coming to for this aid right now. And this will bind you, right? This
Yeah.
is going to bind you in a way that, being the, man who's making all the orders and making people submit, that's not going to bind you in the same way.
Yeah.
So I just think that we have a ways to go, but we need to start by stop bringing each other down publicly and making it our business to,
And I think that's it. And
yeah,
loyalty, we don't, it's like, there's got to be loyalty and respect and appreciation. Now, he said something here. Not always the case. I've seen men that provide get cheated on and disrespected. There's a lot of reasons for those things, and to be honest with you, I'm not even going to justify that. I don't know what kind of woman, these men are picking up and being providing for. I'm gonna tell you something that I do know though. Sometimes, when you go out there and you get a particular type of woman, and there's a particular kind of woman that I see that some men are attracted to. And some of those type of women are not the type of women that they are attracted to, are not the type of women that they are really wanting. They want the kind of women that are wives. They want women that will, have children and make good wives and take care of them, and but the kind of women that they are attracted to are the kind that are more superficial and care more about what they look like, and and if that's the kind of woman that you're attracted to, then she's probably not the kind of woman that care about certain things,
right,
and so you can't change that. You're not going to change a superficial woman.
right,
And men have to start being honest, because they go out of their way to attract, or they're attracted to certain types of women, and they become very and good providers to those types of women, and then be surprised when these women maintain the type of personalities that they were when they met them.
but I know women who are, just beautiful women, very
Yeah, they want the
accomplished.
Instagram baddies. Exactly. That's exactly
Yeah.
what they want. Yeah, they want them baddies.
Oh,
They
yeah,
want
yeah.
the,
There you go. There you
tens.
go.
They want the tens.
Yeah.
They don't want to settle
But
down.
then, but that's
They want
10.
to build their own
That's
10.
10 physically. That's not
Yeah,
10.
they don't got the 10 mentally
Yeah,
and spiritually. They want the 10
exactly.
10. They don't want the
Exactly.
internal 10. And there are two types of 10s. There's the external 10, and then there's the internal 10. And for the most part, when you get the external 10, she's external for everyone. The internal
And
10
and
is
and and
internal
that's the
for you.
thing. And I've said to women who are like
Mhm,
considered like arm candy for men, that the
mhm.
type, they have problems with fidelity
Right,
from the men. And it's like, well,
exactly.
yeah, because they're always looking for the next arm candy. You have
Yeah,
to, you have to go and get a man who doesn't want you just for the way you look. You have to find
exactly.
a guy who wants you for who you are, the totality of who you are. And men are the same way. And this, having babies with people, and then getting resentful when you have to pay for the babies. To me, I just don't even understand that. I don't even understand that.
And that's
You
the
know how
part.
babies are made, yeah. And so you know what chances you're taking, and if you do, and if you and you need to be really careful about who you choose to be procreating with, because this is a relationship that's going to last a lifetime.
Yeah.
So You know, I think, you know, for them to, and that's one thing that they seem to complain a lot about, because it's like they just think that it's just their right to make babies and not be responsible for these babies, or just to pay as little child support as they can.
Then they complain about being with women that have children when so many of them are having children and not taking care of them. And then
they're not there.
They meet women with children and like, I'm not dealing with no women with children. Well, so many of you are not taking care of children when you have them with other women. So there's gonna be a plethora of women out there with children.
And the thing is, this is normal. And I don't know if I told you, but I was shocked one day when I was listening to the radio and the guy said, "What's more important, paying child support or spending time with your kid?" And I'm like, if you're a daddy, you're supposed to be doing all of that.
Exactly.
You're not supposed to choose whether or not you pay child support or spend time with your child. You're supposed to be paying child support and you're supposed to be spending time with your child.
And you know what? A great guy don't even have those kind of conversations. Mm-hmm. And a good man does not even sit there and try to like balance that out. That's the thing. It's like,
I was shocked. I was literally like, this is a race to the bottom. This is a race to the bottom.
That's that part. So a good man is not even going to sit there and try to balance that out. Just like I've seen, for the most part now, there's a lot of Black men that get online and like, I would never deal with a woman with children. Well, you don't want that man. Not even with your children. Not even to have his children.
Yeah.
Because a man that wouldn't want a woman with children, as soon as he stopped being with you, is not necessarily going to want to take care of you and your children.
Right.
So, and that's an idea. That's something to think about, because you know, a lot of men that don't want that responsibility of they tend to like turn their backs on you when they, even with their children. Those are the ones that leave. Of
course they will.
And that's the part a lot of women don't get. Be very careful out here with these guys that be like, I don't want to deal with women with children. He don't even want to deal with. He will leave you with children. He leave you.
He probably got some over there that he's not taking care of.
Period. Yeah. And those are the things. So we're really in a weird time.
And then you have a baby with him, and then you complain about the way he's behaving, but he showed you who he was.
Exactly.
He showed you who she was before you went and had a baby with her, and then you complain about her behavior. But she showed you who she was.
Stop having sex with men, y'all, until you know. We're in a real weird time. I'm telling young girls now. I'm telling, I'm putting it out there. All older women, all younger women that's been out there. Let's give these young women advice. It's really time that we make young women understand, value your gift. Do not just give it to just anybody, because there are few men out here that truly deserve your gift.
There you go.
Period. There's not enough men out here that truly deserve for you to give yourself to them. Yeah. And I promise you, it's even. I mean, I know. You said they won't listen. We have to bring it across. I mean, when you go through these YouTube streets, you see how Black men, you see how they're talking about Black women. We have to bring that across to them, because there's no love. There's not enough. There's a lot of Black men out here that just have no love. And I'm telling you, they're pushing it. They're pushing it, and it's scary. And I feel sorry. If this thing continues, there was a time when the Black man loved the Black women. You could hear it in their music.
Yeah.
Other women were jealous of how much love we had for each other. If nothing else, there was love.
And that's part of the reason why that these things are interjected to destroy it, because you have to do that to maintain control. Mm-hmm. So, so I do understand the pressures that's one of the first things that I noticed the first time I came to Africa, was how differently a lot of African men who I encountered were about their families than the men back in the States.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of
away from their kids and not taking care of their kids and everything. It was like, kids stay with me, I want my children with me, a lot of times in some country, like in the Congo, it seemed like a lot of men, the kid would be with the woman if they broke up, the child would stay with her mother or his mother until a certain age and then move over to the father.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But there were men who were neglectful, but it was not the norm the way it was in the States. In the States, we've made it like it's a real pathology. It really, really is that, men can just walk off and not take any responsibility for their own children. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're in jail. I don't care if you can still do something for your children, even if it's just write them a letter.
What would happen if Black women did that? Where we just had children, left them in a hospital, and kept walking.
Right.
Because the way people are making it seem like when you hear them talk about Black women and how much harm we're doing to the Black family, you would think that we did that, like we just walked away from our families, because that's what Black men. I'm not saying all Black men, guys, please. There are quite a few Black men, and my heart go out to them, and much respect to you kings that have stuck around and have raised your children. And man, thanks to you, we have some good men left in this community. But for the most part, there are a lot of children that are born in hospitals that never had their fathers.
Yep.
And that's our truth. And we have to.
And even people who are like my age, your age, people who are like, publicly, prominent people be like, I didn't meet my dad until I was 30 years old or something like that. And it's like, what? It's really a problem in this society. It really, really is. People who never actually know who their father is are never told like who their daddy really is. But you're right. And I even think that a lot of the times when we talk about this whole, abortion issue, I was thinking the same thing, kind of like what you were saying, is like if women could like just have a baby, get up and walk away, and he would be responsible for taking care of the child, those laws would not be the way they are.
And I just don't, it's like, because when we talk about the Black woman and how she has broken the Black family, if we didn't stick around, where would the Black family be?
Because, where would we be?
And that's the part I don't get. It's like, it's
and
funny.
There's no appreciation for that.
We've been the hero in this whole thing. I mean, if we were talking about Black women who played the hero in this whole thing, and I feel like it's funny because it's the only thing. It's the only thing that I don't get out of this whole scenario, how she's now holding it's your fault bag. She's got the whole it's your fault bag. And I really hope this turns around soon, because it's funny, because it's our Black boys, it's the babies that we raised. For the most part, a lot of these young Black men that are screaming foul come from broken homes. They come from homes of single Black women without the fathers. And I get it. Just like Kevin Samuels, your Kevin Samuels didn't have a father. I get it that, you always blame the one that's here. But
where was your daddy?
It's such an oxymoron that you end up. So it's.
And then think about how, I know there are bad dads. But think about how many grown men who had responsible fathers, how they pass that down to their children. That's a generational thing, And so
I see it because my husband, he has the best dad in the world, and they have.
That's the thing. And if you look at those good dads, like I have said, that my relationship with my father's gone now. But I said nobody in the world could have changed it. I don't care if Jesus Christ himself descended from heaven. Nothing would have changed my relationship with my father, because that was a relationship that he established with us,
Right.
and it was so strong that it'll survive my generation. It'll be passed down. My son understands what a good father his grandfather was, right? And tries to, be that kind of, like, live up to that thing. So when you have that good dad, everything changes. The whole trajectory of your family changes. It's not to say that the women are not picking up the pace and not doing the work, but when you have both of them in there doing what needs to be done, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And that's what men need to understand. Instead of complaining about, well, work with your woman and you will see that will bear fruit. That's all I have to say. If y'all work together, it will definitely bear fruit.
And it's true. And I love this statement. I've seen well, you know what, in the cases where you see two-parent home children gone bad too, it's because there's two adults there, but there's only one parent still, probably. And that's
Well,
the
there's
part.
too much dysfunction in it, but we were talking about the dysfunctional.
The
And you
dysfunction
may
is
have families where you
probably
have
no
one
parent
child.
because the dysfunction is so much. There's no parenting.
Yeah.
In that case, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you might have some families that, you know, like I said, that you might have a bad kid in the house, you know, one bad kid, you know, or whatever. And that happens. But generally, when you have two parents who are loving on their kids and trying to be responsible for their children, that does bear that fruit. And so, you know, I mean, that's certainly the model we need to be aiming for. Not.
And I think, and it's funny because Icon Fire said something tonight, and it kind of just came back to me earlier when he said we could force you to. And I think, in essence, that's what I feel like Black men are doing. They're trying to force us to by defaming and basically debasing and disrespectful and being hurtful towards us. I think it's a way. It's like in a way trying to force us to give to them something that we don't have, you know.
But that's not understanding the humanity of that woman.
Yeah.
If you want to force someone to submit, I mean,
and it's funny. I was just sitting there thinking about it when he said it. It was like, you know, we could force you to submit. And I was thinking, that's exactly.
You want to live with someone like that who is forced to?
That's exactly what they're doing. This force that this thing where they're going online telling women that you're above average, you're not this, you're this. Black women is the problem with the Black family. Black women broke the Black family. This is a way of forcing, or debasing and treating Black women in such a way where they're gonna be like, it's really a form of narcissism where you make this person feel like such a small thing that, you know, they just like, you know, become less than, you know, like just crawl into a corner and disappear.
And she's like I said, automaton. She's not like a person who has the right to be respected and loved and heard. And so when you have that kind of relationship, that's probably not going to be very comfortable.
S.A. Smith, I see it where women are feeding into it and turning on themselves. Yes, you have a lot of sisters that are, you know, starting channels and they have a lot of male subscribers that are backing them up too, where they're, you know, bashing Black women as well, and, you know, defaming Black women as well. I see a lot of that too, and it's not even like, to be honest with you, it's not productive, because at the same time, you can see right through it that at the end of the day, you're not making change. What you're doing is you're showing the world how, again, you're debasing us to the world, because it's a whole bunch of insulting things being said. It's nothing, nothing productive is being done. Like, it's like a whole bunch of you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. It's nothing, no answers,
we've made it
no
like
solutions, just a bunch of negative and ugly rhetoric about.
It's a national pastime. It's a national pastime to bash Black people, and we are participating in it. We have always begun, you know, we have always participated in it. There have always been some of us who are willing to participate in the bashing of Black people, the demeaning of Black people. And it's like on steroids now. She said it right, turning on ourselves. And, you know, women, y'all need to do this, and you're doing this wrong. And, you know, men, this, that, and the other. And it's just, my thing at the end of the day is we need to ask ourselves, whatever is going on, is like, does this build us or does this break it down? Is
And
what is being said going to build us up or is it going to break us down?
And I think that, like all things natural, and I think the relationship between man and woman, be whatever race, it's a natural flow. This thing that men need from women and women need from men, it's a natural. It's when it's not natural. It's when it's being called upon in an unnatural way that um that it causes inconsistencies. And this is why we're having such a problem. That's why there's so much friction, because it's being pulled in a way where it's not natural. A natural way of getting women to flow in a way that I guess would seem in a supportive way. Let's use the word support, not submission. In a way that supports Black men in the way they need to be supported, is for Black men to provide what need the Black women need for her to be
If
able
he
to
loves
reach
on
her
his
supportive
woman,
position. And you see, because it's just like everything else, it's energy. If you're doing what you need to do, then her energy is she's gonna be pulled in the right,
yeah,
it's gonna flow. It's a
yeah,
flow factor. It's really just energy. So if you're not in the position for her energy to flow naturally in that direction, you can't force it. You can, I mean, you can mule anything, but in the end of
mm,
the day, it's not natural, and it will definitely not end well.
mm-hmm.
And that's what you've gotten, and that's what
And that's what's happening.
and that's what you keep getting. So that's why the outcome is never good.
So
So
I guess maybe TD Jakes was right. If you pour into, and I don't necessarily like his pouring into thing. I don't know
yeah,
if that's what I don't know that why he used that language, but if you, it's like you said, you plant a seed,
yeah,
you water the seed, and
yeah.
it will grow, it will bear fruit.
You're gonna have
And if you treat her like that, if you treat her like she's a seed that's going to grow with you, and y'all are going to work together. I mean, the women who I know will go to the ends of the earth
exactly, exactly.
for someone who loves and supports them and loves their children. And they what women are like in prison right now.
It's funny he puts this. He says that's why a lot of Black men run to Islam, and religion teaches women to submit almost like slaves to men. I just believe that households it should be teamwork with men and women. It's true. The other
I
day I
agree
was
with that.
talking to someone and I said, I truly believe that if in Islam or in, let's say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but I believe that even in the Hebrew Israelite belief system, Islam or let's say other belief systems where men have this thing where women have to be in conjunction and control because of that belief system. If in those belief systems, let's say the head of those systems came down tomorrow and said, you know what, all that we taught about women, not true. They are equal to you. 90% of those men would step away. Period. Because most of those men are in those belief systems because of their
Uh-huh.
ability to control those women.
Because it
And that's the truth.
institutionalizes
And
the
that's
power
the
that they
truth.
want. It
Exactly.
institutionalizes it, and they don't have to. They can just walk into it. They don't have to like earn it. And I keep saying that, you have to show who you are. Like for me, I'm like I love everybody, and that's my default setting. You have to take it away from me. You have to show me that my affection towards you, that I like you, I appreciate you. You have to show me that it's not well placed. That's
Exactly.
your thing.
Exactly.
So, but men need to understand that you may be given the benefit of the doubt, but then if you don't step up, then you're gonna have a problem. But if you say the Bible or the Quran or the Torah or some other book is saying you've got to do X, Y, and Z, I'm sorry. I just think I think humanity is kind of universal, and there are frustrated women in Islam too. You
And
know,
they're definitely frustrated. Not just, I mean, there's frustrated women in all places, but
everywhere.
definitely.
All the cultures, all of that. There are frustrated women because they're in this structure that's telling them they need to do X, Y, and Z. And so my thing is, you really, I think men will get more out of their partners if they're more understanding and supportive.
Yeah.
So if you use support instead of using submissive, then it works either way. She can be supportive, she should be supportive to him, and he should be supportive to her.
I'm very grateful to say this, to say that it's very blessing to be with a man that loves you enough to not want to treat you like an animal, like a possession or a tool. Um and any woman that is and I'm sorry to say this, but it's really not a blessing to be with anybody that wants to treat you like a tool, um, or a mule. It's truly important that you find, well, I would think, and I can't speak for all people, but it's important to find someone that look at you like a partner, like someone that they see as someone that, that they're making decisions with, and someone that they consider an equal. It's really important that you find someone that you consider um, a team, somebody that you're running a corporation with, somebody that you're a partner with. If you're in a situation where someone looks down at you, or makes you feel like you're less than, I mean, the head of anything, a great leader, the best of leaders in any situation is one that makes you feel like they're a team player. And that's all I got to say on that. And then I'm out of here. So
Yay.
go ahead, tell me what you think.
That I agree. I agree. I think, and I think, the one thing that, I really do also agree is that however you structure your partnership is the way you structure your partnership.
Yeah.
If you structure your partnership where she works and you work, or one of you works, the other one doesn't work. Because I know partnerships, marriages where he stays home because she's
Yeah.
got more earning potential, and he stays home until the kids are like a certain age, and then when they're, then he'll go out and begin to explore things that he wants to do. Or if she stays home and just takes care of everything, that's the partnership. Glory,
Yeah.
hallelujah. It needs, to me, it should be something that everybody agrees on.
It's got to be
And
something
then
you both agree on. Yeah.
exactly,
And that's
exactly,
that's how it's supposed to be. And that's how it
yeah,
should be. And it's been like that from the beginning of time. I mean, when we look at
yeah.
especially for us,
For
especially the
us,
melanated people on this earth.
African women had a lot of respect, and their
Yes.
roles were not to be minimized. At all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And that's another aspect of it. We're not just any people, we're melanated people from the continent. And that itself renders it a little different. Black women have always been, and it's funny because our men were, it's funny because culturally we were inclined to be the most free women. I mean, our women had more as far as the ability to do and to stand right by her man. That was our situation. That wasn't the situation for all men, all women on this earth, but
mm-hmm,
our relationship with our men had always been one of equal footing. And
mm-hmm.
that changed.
Yep.
It did change. And we became other types of people based on other belief systems and philosophies that we jumped into. But that's a big discussion.
That's a discussion I'm still waiting for you to have.
And you know what, we have to wrap our head around that one, because that again is one that talks about religion, that talks about different types forms of religion that came into the continent. And that's one that offends a lot of people, because every time you talk about Christianity or Islam, and these are the factors, those are the truth, that's the truth. The bulk of it is religion, and people's belief system fall
Yeah.
into play to how our relationship between the black man and the black woman
Mm-hmm.
changed. And it's funny because this discussion that we're having right here today with Bishop TD Jakes again falls in line with this man, and he's a religious man, and Christianity played a big part on how black man's relationship changed with the black woman and
Mm-hmm.
Islam. So Yeah, so I mean, our relationship had never been the same since. So
No. And every time I think about that whole dynamic of how
yeah,
our spirituality began to, how the change
yeah,
influenced us, I think about the Haitian Revolution. And
yeah,
I think about that prayer that they
yeah,
prayed, which said something like, "White man has his God, that his God allows him to do terrible things,"
yeah.
or something along those lines. But
Well,
we
this is the
look to
clip.
you.
I'll
Yeah.
play this clip. I'm gonna play a clip while we're going out. It's a clip of Quato Mutwa, and it's funny because I always love this clip. It's a clip where he talks about how the relationship was between Black women and Black men prior to colonization, which is interesting. I still have this clip here, but this is an interesting clip because it speaks to the it speaks truth in reference to what we were prior to our unraveling of ourselves into all these
Mhm.
other cells that we became. So Wendy, I want to thank you for coming through. I'm trying not to stay on here as long as I usually do, so I can get some other things done. I will be here tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be having a deeper conversation, y'all. We're going to be talking about arms trafficking and some of the things that went on in Haiti and is going on in Haiti. I'm asking you guys to please keep Haiti in your prayers. There is a lot going on down there, guys, and it does not look like it's looking good for a while now. I don't know when that's going to clear up. It's ongoing. So that being said, thanks a lot, Wendy. And I will now play this clip for you
Have
guys.
a good evening.
You too, and please email me and let me know when you want to have that discussion about the Gambia.
Oh, no problem. Woo! I
In
like it.
African tradition, a man was not allowed to crush and dominate the woman. Never. In African tradition, a man was not allowed to act unilaterally in the family. Everything he did, he had to do after having obtained his wife's fullest blessing and permission. According to the culture of all our people, the woman was regarded as spiritually greater than the man. Even the most autocratic of African kings used to consult their people on a major subject. When a king wanted to go out and make war against such and such a tribe, he didn't just assemble the warriors and lead them off into battle. No, not at all. He had to obtain the approval of the women folk of the tribe, and these women had the right to say no. Our people believed that before you leave your village with your spear in hand, oh man, you must first consult your wife. An African marriage was not a union where the man was superior and where the woman was inferior. No. Let me tell you that in African tradition, you were not allowed to make love to your wife until you had made her ready for an hour. And before that, she had to give her consent. You were not allowed to impregnate your wife unless she was willing to receive your seed. You were not allowed to punish a child without having first talked with your wife. And the woman had the power to oppose you. An African traditional marriage was an equal partnership between the cattle-keeping male and the grain-planting female. The woman needed the milk that the man's cows would give for her children. And the man needed the grain that the woman would plant. Sometimes the man was gone for several years. And when he did return, if he returned, he knew that his family was intact. And it was not force or intimidation that kept the woman in her home. It was her love for the man who was away. Also, it was the woman who discovered, sometimes at great cost in lives, which plants in the bush were edible and which were not. Extending over many centuries, our women learned which plants were dangerous to human life, which were beneficial, which could be used as medicines and which could be used as food. So the woman earned the man's respect in Africa for these and many other reasons.